Ms. Richards, what? The question is,
I've never understood why they set it up that way. It's the second option. Just gives Johnson C. Smith rights to have your interview to use it in this regard. No, I've never understood why they set it up that way because I get confused by it.
okay.
For the video, can you state your name for me?
DorisFrazier.
Okay. Doris, how are you involved in ACT? How have you been a part of ACT?
Well, I was involved in that from its inception in 1981. I was called by Barbara Ferguson and some other people that she knew, some artistic people that wanted to create something for children. So I didn't know quite what it was, but so this was new for me and new for all of us. So the first year I was one of the instructors, and so this is the beginning of something that was evolving that we didn't quite know what was happening, but it became a beautiful piece of legacy that involved children who were creating, instructors who were learning. So I became the creative director early on and worked for, I guess, for 14 years as creative director each summer. And at first, then I think we started out with 1 week, and then there was 2 weeks, 1 session, and there were 2 sessions. So it grew, yeah, and the children grew, and the children came back repeatedly, and it was such fun. And so being creative director was something that I grew out of from children. So not only did the children learn from the instructors, but I was growing, learning about children and learning their possibilities and how smart they were, and respecting them as human beings, which I think was a big part of the success, that they were human beings first, and that they were able to think and create. So that's...
What effect did, or how did you come to that philosophy? As I've been in theater and in choirs and such myself, and I've had some directors where it's you follow that note, you follow what the artist has said, and some others have said we can have some creativity. And I know some of the participants of that have stated as such that they really felt like they had a voice. So going into this, what, as a teacher, as an instructor, what made you look at this and say, we're going to be open, we're going to have some freedom here, some creativity to have that voice?
I tell you, it was natural for me. It was nothing hard. It just made sense, I guess. I think a lot of things come from who we are, what we bring to something, and I guess my inner thoughts have always been that, children can learn. I was also a teacher in the school system, so that I brought some of that with me to ACT and took it with me to the schoolhouse also. But it was very natural, and the thing that was most natural in knowing, and things I also learned along the way by paying attention and keeping myself open for success. And what I did notice is that children learn when they're having fun. Yeah. And so I learned that in the schoolhouse too. I got most things done because we had a lot of fun doing it. And that wasn't made hard, and it wasn't made a task, but it was made something that they were involved in also, which is a key thing, that they're involved. Not just me telling them what to do. And what I learned was, gosh, they have voice. And their voices grew. Every year they were talking more, telling me what to do and how it should be done. And I was not offended by that, not intimidated, but glad for that, because we were creating a future of thinkers and creators.
What was that like watching the process of it? They come in day one on one level, and at the end of this, you have this wonderful performance. What was that like watching them grow, watching them learn?
It was just so awesome. Even today, and I know better, but I'm just so in awe of children and how wonderfully bright and smart they are, and how much they have in them to share, and their willingness to share it. It was just like, and so to see something, I always had faith that it would be okay, even though it looked chaotic, it's kind of like that's my process, I guess. It's chaos. It's because, or seemingly chaos, because, like I think one of the students said that it was out of, we were putting together a puzzle, so we had the parts, but it was not a complete puzzle yet. But the beauty of it was seeing that puzzle come together, and the children seeing that too. And they were like, wow, we've got a show. And said, oh no, how is this going to happen? We're not really, I don't have a script, and we don't have, but they saw the involvement of it, and that we can put pieces together and put it together like a beautiful puzzle, and present a program that was awesome. So it was great.
You said you were also a teacher at the same time. How did your teaching affect ACT, and how did, I guess more importantly, how did ACT affect your teaching?
I was able to bring a lot to my classroom, and there's a little fight there sometimes in the system but then what ACT did for me was made me smart in the way I did that, the way I taught. And so I was able to satisfy what was needed to be satisfied in the system, and still bring my ACT experience in there, and have the children learn so much more with the infusion of the arts. So it was an arts infused school anyway, so that helped some. So it was already a school of infusion of arts.
How did you see ACT, and because being a teacher, ACT and being a teacher, everything revolves around this community in Johnson C. Smith. How did you, what was that balance like? Does that make sense?
Yeah, well, I think like I said again, it was natural. I was also a student at Johnson C. Smith,
okay.
So I was familiar with the campus, and it was a wonderful place to be. The children had such fun. While they were playing Foursquare out there on the campus, I was busy writing a script in a little circle there, papers flying, and they were playing Foursquare. And sometimes they played for 2 hours. We have a 2-hour break. Who has 2-hour break?
2 hours.
Right, Taj? Who has a 2-hour break for lunch? Well, we did. But yet these children were so, amazing. And I would wonder sometimes how would they learn their lines, but they were amazing enough to play Foursquare for 2 hours, talk on the phone or whatever they did, learn their lines and do all that. Isn't that amazing?
And bring it together.
And bring it together, so it's so the whole thing just seemed like it was supposed to be. Barbara's dream, having it on Smith's campus. And the thing that was exciting, I guess, to answer your question, it wasn't just me, which is the most beautiful thing about it, that the fact that we had all these people, the parents, totally involved, Smith's campus staff, totally involved, people, we have people coming up, and the artists in the community would come and do workshops. So it was a thing where people were totally committed to the program of ACT and to the children, and they saw beyond these 2 eyes.
What was done.
That's right.
What do you think ACT's legacy is going forward?
It's a legacy of remembering who I am, always remembering me as a person, as a human being first, and as a person of great history, as a person who matters. So as I speak of myself and being that way, I'm also speaking of everybody else who has been involved in ACT, people who matter, and people who know that if we do this thing right and do this thing in a together fashion, in a team fashion, this just amazes me about teamwork. That is just amazing to me. That when minds get together as a team, you can raise this roof, and that's truly possible. And I've seen it happen with ACT and with these children who have grown up in the community and who raise roofs because they know what teamwork means, and they know what interaction is, and thinking as an individual and bringing that together collectively to make something good.
Anything else you'd like to add?
I am so glad to be here and to have been a part of this organization. It's just, I think about ACT quite often. every time, and Barbara, when I talk to Barbara Ferguson, who is the founder, on the phone, I just get excited talking to her. I really do. We had such a good connection from the very beginning, which made it possible. And so I think that I'm so glad that I was able to be a part of this. That was in my destiny, to be a part of these children who I'm so proud of, and a part of this organization called the Afro-American Children's Theater.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.